Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I wanted to talk about the locations of the dedicated servers in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I have a NetDuma router which shows me if I'm connected to the dedicated server and where said server is located. Usually when you first log into the game you connect to all the dedicated servers, or at least almost all of them at once, so you get a really good idea of where all the dedicated servers are located around the world. I'm going to be showing you pictures of that. Got some Inmate A7 gameplay right here, and yes, there are dedicated servers. I know it's a very popular thing in the community to say that there are no dedicated servers, or if you lag, or if you get a host migration, therefore there are no such thing as dedicated servers. And that's kind of like looking outside and seeing a cloud and then just deciding that it's going to rain indefinitely. Call of Duty uses the dedicated/listen system, which means it tries to put you on a dedicated server, but if they're full or if you can't connect for whatever random reason, you're going to be playing on a player hosted server. And the dedicated server list I'm going to show you is not a complete list because the game is still in beta, and because sometimes when I connect, not all of them show up. But I'm going to have about 95% of the servers available, and here is picture number 1. This is of the global map of dedicated servers. You can see where almost all of them are on this picture, and if you haven't noticed, the vast majority of dedicated servers are in the United States and in the EU, or European Union, or across Europe, or whatever you want to say. And you're probably going to ask, okay, why are there so many dedicated servers there and not anywhere else in the world? And the answer is pretty obvious, and that's because about 95 to maybe 98 or 99% of all Call of Duty players either live in the United States or somewhere in the European Union. People that live in outlying countries in South America, Africa, Middle East, India, Southeast Asia, and Australia, even though there are Call of Duty players there, they're unfortunately not clustered together very tightly, and they're not part of the true majority. Shout out to Singapore. I know you guys are suffering with the lack of dedicated servers, and you're all cool people. So let's take a look at the US dedicated servers zoomed in on. You'll see that the Dallas one showed up this time when I zoomed in, but these are all of the dedicated servers in the US, and these also service Canada as well, because about 90% of the population of Canada lives within a couple of miles of the American border, largely on the east and west coast. So as you can see, we have dedicated servers in New York, we have them in Atlanta, and Dallas, in my hometown, thank goodness, and we have one which appears to be in Montreal, Canada, and that's probably going to service Ottawa, Quebec City, and Toronto. There's one in Chicago for the Great Lakes region. We have Tampa down there for Florida, Kansas City, a little bit of Google Fiber hype right there, and a little bit of love for the Midwest. We have them in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and again up there in Seattle. Seattle is also going to take care of Vancouver, which is a major Canadian population city, and it's very, very geographically close, so there's not going to be a whole lot of lag there. So that pretty much covers all of the US. Let's move on to Europe. In Europe, it's a little bit more spread out as the Call of Duty populations aren't as dense, and as we have vast income inequalities across Europe, but we have them in London, England, or London, United Kingdom, however you want to say that. We have it in Paris, France. There's one right on the border between Belgium and the Netherlands. I can't really tell if it's going to be in Brussels or Amsterdam, but it's very, very close over there. It'll take care of that region. We have Valencia, Spain for some reason. I'm not quite sure why we have Valencia, Spain. I guess it takes care of Spain, southern France, maybe a little bit of Italy and North Africa, not entirely sure. Copenhagen, Denmark, which is the capital of Denmark, shout out to Denmark. Warsaw, Poland, and we even have one in Moscow, Russia. There are other locations around the world that are much more spread out, but they're trying to hit major population centers with high levels of income, with high levels of Call of Duty players. We have one in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, which is most of South America, because most of the Call of Duty players are in Brazil. Cape Town, South Africa, because one of the richer places in Africa where you're going to have the most Call of Duty players is going to be in South Africa. We also have Melbourne, Australia, so that takes care of the majority of Australia, because most of Australia lives in Sydney or Melbourne over there on the east coast. And we also have one in Tokyo, Japan, which is supposed to service all of Southeast Asia, but I think we're missing out a little bit because Singapore is pretty dope and they definitely need dedicated servers, but that's supposed to take care of Japan, China, Singapore, and pretty much everything over there, because there's not a whole lot of Call of Duty players in those regions. Guys, those are all of the dedicated servers available for the beta. Again, that's not 100% of them because it can obviously change over the course of development, and not all of them come online at any given time, but that's the vast majority of them. The problem is that you don't connect to a dedicated server 100% of the time. The game will try to put you on one, but if it doesn't, you go to a player host, and you as the player have no way of knowing if you're on a dedicated server or on a player host. Of course, if it lags once, you can blame the player host or system system or whatever, but even Deddies can lag a little bit. You just really don't know what you're going to be playing on without a NetDuma. Shout out to NetDuma, shameless sponsorship moment. But I think that's kind of a game design flaw. It should let you know in some way if you're on a dedicated server or not. Like, we hit start in the menu now and we have our ping system and stuff. I don't know why it couldn't say playing on dedicated server, blah, 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 blah. And I think that would help a lot. Guys, that's all for this video. I hope you found it informative. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.